Okay, hello, welcome guys. This video is about setting up some motion detecting for your projects. So for example, if you have an installation and you want the video to only play when someone, for example, walks into the room or steps in a certain spot, you would need to find a way to set that up. So I want to show you, a simple way you could get it going in your project. First, I'll give you a little bit of background. So historically, like I say, going back to about 2010, the way that this was done was using sensors like this one. So this is a Kinect 360, Xbox 360. And these things are fully integrated into Touch Designer now. I can pull a Kinect texture operator in, and I just have to switch the version because by default it's version 2. I'm using version 1. So if I bring that in, you see I get this, and I'm just going to raise the resolution there. So this is actually the depth. So the great thing about this is it would work even in the dark, right? Because it's capturing just like the distance from the camera. So this is actually less useful to us at the moment. I'll give you a quick example of just how this might be used. I'm just going to do a quick thing here. I won't explain really, but I'm just dropping a threshold. I'm flipping the values here. I guess no, just leave that. Okay, something like that. So this kind of setup would allow you to capture, let's say like a silhouette. The setup here isn't great. And my mirror is reflecting the signal too. But this is like one way people would use it, and then you'd send this silhouette to, let's say, affect some other graphics or use just that signal in general. So more interestingly, if we go to the channel operators, there's also a Kinect. And again, I'm going to switch it to version 1. And this one, if we zoom in, you can see it has a ton of information. So I'm just going to actually stand up right now and get in front of the sensor. And as I'm moving around, you can see all this data is changing, right? So up here we have T is actually torso, so torso XYZ, spine, upper arm, lower arm, hand, etc. Okay, so this is pretty cool. With something like this, for example, I could grab a select, which will allow me to pull one of these channels out of here. And by default it selects them all. We have to go up here and choose the channel name we want. And in this case I'm going to grab TZ, which is torso Z. So that's the torso's position in Z space. So it's really like the distance from the camera. So I guess I'm going to stand up now and just kind of walk away from the Kinect and watch this number change as I move. So I'm going to stand back. Okay, I'm getting further away, and that number is increasing. Okay, so walk towards it, the number goes down. Okay, so that is cool. That means we could now send this value somewhere and use it to, let's say, trigger something or control something. So what I'll do next is drop another operator here from our channels called a trigger. And the trigger really, it waits for a certain value or threshold to be met, and then it sends out a signal. And it sends out a special kind of signal called a attack, decay, sustain, release envelope, which this might be reaching back into your memory, but we had a class a long time ago where I talked to you about synthesizers and like the shapes they output. So it's really like outputting one of those like wave type shapes. I'll show you in a second. Anyway, so we connect it to the input. We have to set the threshold. So in this case, I'll put about like 1.2. And the only retrigger delay means like so that it doesn't keep triggering. So let's set that at like 2 seconds. So it's 2s, right? So for 2 seconds after it's triggered, it won't do it again. And then we want to go trigger on decreasing because we want it to actually trigger when the numbers are going down. Okay, so otherwise this looks pretty good. I think I don't like that it's sitting at 0.5. It probably doesn't matter, but I'm just going to turn the sustain to 0. Okay, so just to see what's coming out of this, I like to use one of these. It's called a trail. And this thing outputs a history of the channels back in time. So it'll show us what this thing is outputting over time. So let's try this out. I'm going to stand up and walk away. Okay. So if this works, the thing should trigger once I'm at about 1.2 from the connect. Okay, and there you go. You saw that pulse. So that's the output now that is being sent. And you can see it was just like a little hump. So that is where we could sort of change the shape of it. For this example, I don't really care because I think that's fine, just sending like a pulse. Because all I'm going to do is trigger a video. Okay, so let's get a movie file in. And for the movie file in, I had a recording of just like a thunderstorm I was using. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I have a second one down here. Hold on. Just turn that off. Okay, so we have that in the background. So notice it's playing, it's looping, which is the default behavior for any video in Touch. So to fix that, you actually have to go to trim. Okay, it's kind of weird. It's like trimming the left and right of the video, and extend right is set to cycle. And we want it to actually go to, I guess, black. So it means once you reach the end of the video, don't cycle, go to black. So that's under trim, right? Kind of weird, but that is where it is. So, okay, now we have this video. To make it play, you would have to tell something to hit this button. This is the pulse, right? So this is pretty easy now. The trail we can leave, it's more of a visual aid. But what we've got to do is send this trigger output to the movie. And the way we do that, if you've watched any of the other tutorials, this should be starting to be familiar, maybe. We have to activate the viewer, right? We get this green selection indicator. We click it, drag it, and we got this arrow now. And if you hover over, it'll open the parameters. And I'm going to this button. Okay, and always pick chop reference. Okay, so again, now we have one more connection. And ideally, what happens now is once my torso is at 1.2 distance, this trigger, right, will play and fire a signal to the movie. Okay, well, let's try it out. So Now notice it won't trigger when I'm walking away because we specifically told it to trigger on decreasing values. Right? So it's safe to walk away. And now I am going to come towards it. There it is. Okay, so we've gotten here, but you're probably saying, but I don't have a Kinect, right? You don't have a Kinect, which is probably true. They're not expensive, but I don't expect you to buy one. So let's look at an option for you that you can do on your computer without any gear at all. And that takes me down to, this is the example project that you will find on Blackboard. So this is using a component, again, that you can just download for free. This is some folks made a component in Touch Designer which utilizes this framework from Google called the MediaPipe. I guess MediaPipe Solutions, which basically it's a library of tools that lets you apply artificial intelligence and machine learning to applications. Right, so it's actually like super powerful. So you can take a look at this. You can see this thing's got a bunch of outputs, and this is all the different things that it does. So detect faces, facial landmarks, hands, poses, objects. It can classify images, right? So right now I have it set to detect hands. It's using my camera from my laptop, just my crappy laptop camera, right? Actually, if we leave that on for a second, you can see what it's doing. So let's see if it works. Okay, so this is artificial intelligence that's doing this. It's been trained on human hands. And now, you know, the one downside of this is that it does need light. It needs to be able to see the object in order to do its magic. But other than that, we now have a very powerful system for detecting movement, right? And now this is just pure data. We could use this to control graphics, do whatever. Very cool. Okay, so just like the Kinect, the MediaPipe is also going to spit out all kinds of data when I wave my hands in front of it. So because of that, I'm going to use a select, and here I'm going to reconnect my network. Okay, so I have chosen the thumb, the tip of the thumb on, I think, the left hand. So the left hand thumb tip, Z position. In this case, I had to do a little bit of math just because the number coming in was like really, really tiny. So I just wanted to remap it from 0 to 1. Again, I'm sending it to a trigger. And in this case, I'm triggering a movie and a sound effect. Right, so the sound's cue is also being pulsed, and the movie's cue is also being pulsed at the same time. There's one little extra piece. I'm recycling that trigger. I'm using it one more time to also fade the audio and video in and out at the same time. So that's just controlling the brightness here on this level and the volume on this guy here. Okay, so again, let's try this. This one is going to be looking for the thumb tip of my hand. And once it reaches, I don't know, some value that I've set, the trigger will go off. So let's enable that. Fingers crossed this works. So let's look at the hand tracking. Okay, I'm moving towards. There it is. Okay, that one was short because I set up that extra fade. Let me turn up the volume. Okay, so that's the gist of it. This setup is available on Blackboard, so meaning You can use the media pipe to track your hand, or I mean, if you want to try something else, all of this other functionality is built in. You do have to bring in the other components, which I'll also bundle in there for you. Um, and then otherwise, you just send the signal out to pulse things. Okay, guys, so that's all I got for you today. Good luck out there.